State Prosecutor George Baloyi says the media's behavior this morning has interfered with the witnesses in the Senzo Meyiwa Murder Trial at the High Court in Pretoria. Judge Tshifhiwal Maumela says the media has to toe the line and ordered that those who interfered with witnesses must step out of court. For more on this and to also make sense of what happened in court this morning, let's bring in now Advocate Romeo Nthambeleni on Zoom. Thank you so much, Mr. Nthambeleni, for your time on the agenda. Let's talk about the guidelines, because I think it was a very dramatic morning in court. What are the guidelines for media's conduct towards witnesses, especially in cases of such major public interest?
All right. Thank you very much for that question. And I greet all the viewers and the listeners alike. Look, the guidelines are created by the Judge President of the division as to how the media is supposed to conduct themselves during the court proceedings. And what we have seen transpiring early this morning is actually unacceptable, and it should be condemned with no fear of favor or prejudice. The media has been given an opportunity to broadcast the proceedings that are in court, but not to interfere with the witnesses, because the moment you start interfering with the witnesses, you are actually tainting the value of the evidence that is actually before court. And what we saw transpiring is completely unacceptable, and the media should actually cease and desist from that kind of behavior of interfering with the witnesses. Hence, you rightfully said that the judges actually indicated that those who were involved in such a conduct should be outside court, and that should be the standard. And the media should be aware of the rules and the guidelines that are set out by the Judge President of the division relating on how they should conduct themselves in the midst of the proceedings to actually respect the decorum of the court and the proceedings of the court themselves.
Now, Advocate Nthambeleni, how does the media's conduct impact a case such as this one, having actually watched what transpired throughout the course of the morning? And what, maybe does it not perhaps maybe blur the lines between informing the public as well as, keeping within the guidelines of the court?
Yeah, no, look, you're right. There's a duty of the media to actually inform the public about the proceedings of the court, but that should be done within the rules and the precepts that are set by the guidelines that are set out by the Judge President relating to the to how the media should behave themselves when they're in the court proceedings and also outside the court proceedings in how they report to the public. So the moment you start interfering with the witnesses, it actually becomes unbearable, because you affect the dignity of the evidence that is being brought before court, and witnesses themselves and how they are supposed to conduct themselves. Because you can see that when witnesses get into the box, they are sworn in to testify and give nothing else but the truth. But if there's already information that is being discussed with the media before the witness it actually goes into the box, it affects the integrity of the evidence of that particular witness that is entering into the box. And the law of evidence does not actually allow that. Hence, you see that at some point there is a refusal of the media to actually broadcast these live proceedings, because it affects the integrity of the evidence that is before court.
Now, the judge also spoke about how, serious repercussions should be, imposed on the parties that were found to be guilty for what happened or transpired this morning in court. Talk to us about the options that the judge has, rather, in this particular instance.
Yeah, it's contempt of court proceedings. And then if you are charged in contempt of court proceedings and you are found guilty of that contempt, you will be sentenced to an imprisonment term or a fine. So I think that process will be allowed to actually unfold and to actually see what has transpired, and give the parties the principle of audia literam patem rule, which is important in these proceedings. And that is what is going to happen. When that has been heard, then a decision will be made.
Advocate Romeo Nthambeleni there, making sense of what transpired at the Pretoria High Court this morning. Thanks very much indeed for your analysis.